Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, ladies and gentlemen, and all in between, and welcome back to the Life and Suffering of Sir Brante Part 12. In the last episode, we had a special lesson with Sir Elquois. We had our first case as a judge, and we ended up listening to the Emperor's speech. So it's year 1137, chapter 3. We're at 19 and 1 year away from our next life stage. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the Way of the Sword. Your studies at the college come easily to you. Only now do you realize the importance of all the lessons you had to endure as a child at father's expense. Month after month, you study the judge's trade down to the smallest details, growing more confident in your new calling with every lecture. But there is more to your education than the judge's trade and imperial law. You also learn manners and courtly etiquette, and poetry and composition, and even fencing. On some days you go with Tomas to a deserted patch of land to practice with the sword. Then, finally, the day of your judge's exam comes. You send your test results to father, and he replies with an appointment to a judge's office at the prefecture of Magra. Now you have a new life and a new profession back home. You will return to your hometown as a judge. It is early morning at the great temple of the twins. Your heart skips a beat as you step inside the temple. It feels like that day from your childhood again. The priest is standing at the altar and the temple is divided into two halves. But you are no longer a frightened little child anymore. You are now a grown man who is about to become a noble. The floor on the common side is there to cause pain. You feel the jagged edges even through the soles of your boots. This pain marks your final few seconds as a commoner. The priest stands before you. You kneel again, but now there is a warm, smooth marble underneath your knees. You hear the words spoken above your head. From this day forth, your lot is strength and will. From this day forth, you will rule and fight and pursue the arts. Now rise, noble. You place your lips on the smooth steel of the sword, and when you rise again, you realize that the trembling you felt ever since your first sacrament is now completely gone. You arise a new man, your every motion now uncannily accurate, your thoughts surprisingly fresh, your muscles ready to face the fight. This day feels worthy of a poem, and now you can compose one if you wish. You touch your back, the mark of the latch from your previous sacrament is gone completely, erased forever. You hurry from the sacrament back to your room at the college. Your father's gift awaits you there, a sword. Your very own sword. Now to celebrate. All college students are invited to the college tournament, then a party. The sword feels wonderful in your hand, a promise of future victories. The tournament begins. The sounds are loud with anticipation. Never in your entire life you have seen so many beautiful, noble ladies in one place. But there is only one who attracts everybody's attention. The raven-haired, black-eyed Octavia Melanidas, the daughter to the Archduke of Magla, has graced the tournament with a visit. She is wearing a dress of emerald green, her austere hairdo immaculate. She is surrounded by her ladies-in-waiting, all beauties in their own right. Oh, only one of them is unlocked for us. When a noble enters the tournament, he must announce the name of the lady whose honour he is fighting for. Many shout the names of their loved ones in the stalls. You know that many would fight for Octavia Melanidas, but the onus of responsibility is too great. You take a few jabs with the sword, warming up for the fight. Soon it is your turn. All eyes are on you now. The young lady Octavia hides her face behind the fan. Yet her eyes watch you curiously. So I can fight for her because I know her name, although my sword skills aren't great. I can't address her publicly because... Oh, she doesn't remember me. Okay, that's fine, so I'm happy that's fine. I choose a random lady, or I could dedicate it to my father, and I can't do that because of my fencing lesson in childhood, so I think let's fight in Octavia's name. We're probably going to lose, but she might still remember me. And we're feeling a bit excited, overwhelmed with becoming a noble, so you approach the stalls and shout clearly and loudly, "You will fight for the honour of the young Duchess Octavia Melanidas." Slowly she rises from her seat. The stalls grow quiet. If you suffer defeat at such insolent words, After such insolent words, you may face the ire of one of the Archnean dynasties. Oh God. Sir Morgan Brante. How do I know this name? Ah, yes, you have already dared to draw my attention once. In memory of our amusing encounter, I will grant you the honour of fighting in my name. Do not disgrace it. Oh dear, I should have done the fencing lesson when I was a kid. Anyway, this was a very risky move. The stalls explode with applause, celebrating your courage. The first fight begins. The rules are the same as for any noble duel. Whoever draws first blood wins. Your first opponent does not put up much of a fight. A few minutes later, he misses a jab to the thigh. Oh no, I bet you it's going to end up with me picking an option based on what level of skill I have fighting. Your shirt is soaked with sweat. The hilt of your sword feels slippery in your wet fingers. From behind her eternal hand fan, Octavia watches you closely from her seat. You prevail in 3 fights in a row and prepare to face a new opponent. You know him well. He was mentored at the prefecture of Eterna after you. He is unusually quick and nimble fighter. He catches you with a feint, then follows it up with a light jab to the side. Fair enough. 3 victories, not bad. You salute Octavia Melanandas with your sword, and she gracefully accepts your gesture. You have proven yourself well, Sir Brante. Who knew you would become a noble and we would meet again here in the capital of the Empire? I must say, I am amazed. Oh, that worked out nicely. The eyes of the young Archduchess follow you even as you leave the arena. And she's intrigued by me now. Octavia Melanandas has taken an interest in you. You will remember this day for the rest of your life. The day when you became a noble and won the hand of Octavia Melanandas. Diplomacy's gone up. Nice. That's brilliant because I wanted to I'm now received in the elite circles. I'd like it to be at least 17 though, just to have that extra bonus in case anything I slide back anyway. Graduated from the college. Year 1137. You have earned the judge's mantle and the noble title. Congratulations to us. I apologise, it's a bit slower than usual. I'm doing some editing in the background. I won't do that again for future videos, knowing how slow it makes the game. Year 1137, winter. Diamant stands trial. Just before you leave the capital, you overhear something unusual on the street. Unius Diamant, patriarch of Astynia and one of the leaders of the new faith, will stand trial before a church tribunal. The Order of the Inquisition has accused Patriarch Unius of patronizing blasphemous witches and disseminating heresy. The Holy Tribunal claims that Unius Diamant was scheming to free all witches and sorcerers from the collars that fetter their accursed powers. And, what's worse, the Patriarch was also accused of forming the Lotless, a dangerous secret society based in the imperial capital. Members of this society have been assaulting inquisitors and priests of the church, as well as freeing witches from the cleansing fire and helping them escape the holy law. Now, the Patriarch must face the Holy Tribunal of the Inquisition in Eterna. By all accounts, this is a devastating blow to the new faith and the end of days for Junius Diamant himself. The Inquisition will make the most of this opportunity to rid the land of this unwelcome Patriarch who dared to shake the foundation of the old faith. But then comes the sudden news of Patriarch Unius's reply to the Holy Tribunal. It is no less stunning than the accusation. These words are nothing but lies. I will say this to anyone who dares to bring this accusation against me in person. But I want those hypocrites to bear the full weight of their responsibility for this slander against me, my flock, the Diamant dynasty and the Holy Order. I agree to stand trial before the Holy Tribunal, but I will face them on my own land and on my own terms. Patriarch Unius has already received strong support from Patriarch Luke and many priests across Archnia. Parishes of the new faith throughout the Empire are now speaking out in support of Unius Diamant. The Church of the Twin Gods is about to be rent in twain. The Inquisition has no choice but to revoke the trial in order to avert the coming schism. Their new official stance is that Patriarch Unius has been wrongfully accused, and the Holy Tribunal will apply more cautious judgment during any further trials against the followers of the new faith. Following the teachings of Patriarch Photius is no longer seen as a heresy by the Inquisition. The trial of Unius Diamant has been averted, but the divide within the Church is only deepening. The new faith has directly challenged the old faith. The result is uncertain, depending on who you ask. Some say Unius Diamant all but pled guilty. Others believe the Patriarch and the alleged rebellion against the Church, as well as the Inquisition, is nothing but a ruse. There are also people who think the entire situation sounds like one of the secret chancellery's dirty deeds. One way or another, the Patriarch of Astynia and co-leader of the new faith remains at his post. But for how long? And how will the old faith and the new faith clash next? The Church is in schism, officially. But it's closer to the old faith than it was the new faith now. Order has been restored, for the time being. A farewell to the capital. The Reglata and the Talarina rivers meet outside the city walls. You have barely left the capital since you came here all those years ago. A breeze is blowing in your face, and the bright noon sun hangs above the shining pillar. Your stay in Eterna has come to an end. You arrived here a boy, full of hopes and aspirations, driven by your family's expectations and a desire to live your life as you saw fit. And now you have to leave, and this thought filled you with gentle sadness. Eterna did not become your home, and yet you have finally found your path. Here in the capital you became a nobleman and a judge. Now you are one of the rulers, the warriors, the pleasure seekers, the creators, those who spill their blood for the empire and family and honor, those who keep and honor the age-old traditions. This is your lot now. You are to work in the prefecture of your home province as a judge. Your path to this goal was a long one, and your friend Tomas was by your side all the while. You fondly recall your walk through the streets of Eterna, your secret fencing lessons, your heartfelt discussions. You have no doubt your future back in Anizot will be full of glory. And then you recall the black, enigmatic eyes of Octavia Melanidas, an Archnian from one of the great dynasties, a woman whose beauty and majesty make you tremble. You heard she would be returning to the court of her father, the Archduke in Magra. Will you ever see her again? You will meet father once more. He tends to hide his feelings, but not this time. After all, you have fulfilled all his hopes, succeeded in your studies, and continued your family's noble legacy. Many things must have changed back home by now. You recall your older brother Stefan. Now that you have been ennobled, you are practically equals at last. This means you should follow an old tradition and bring Stefan a gift, and so you head for the market district of Eterna. Soon you are busy trying out swords at a weaponsmith's shop. There is a lot to consider for this gift. Stefan is taller and his shoulders are broader, which means his sword must be heavier and longer. There can be no embellishments. Stefan would scoff at you if you brought him an extravagant weapon. At last you find a suitable sword, blackened steel, a subtle ornament of leaves on the blade, and a grip shaped like women's vines. It resembles the seared soil of Magra beneath the silver tree. You choose the sheath with the same diligence. There, a light wooden frame bound in thin yet sturdy leather will make the blade easy to draw, and the buckle is sturdy enough. You leave the shop satisfied. You leave the capital the morning after. Eterna, the city where you spent 4 years, slowly disappears on the horizon. Will you ever see the capital again? You do not know. The sword, a gift for Stefan, is in your hands. Nice, a romantic relationship with him. I think that might be the end of our time as a youth. Homecoming, year 1137. After 4 years in the capital, you return to your home city of Anizot. I wonder what awaits us. We've got our achievement, coming of age, the end of youth. The years of your youth have come to an end. The time has come to leave the capital behind and return to your family and new business in your hometown of Anizot. The years away from home were full of tumult and hardship. Your adult shoulders now bear the burden of your first life-changing decisions. Did you have the freedom of choice to choose this lot for yourself, or was it your destiny all along, ever since your childhood years? Well, I changed my mind last minute, but all you can do is now follow the path that lies before you. We'll get a little recap of youth. And there we have it. Diplomacy is pretty good. I mean, ideally I want to be a masterful diplomat, but we'll see how that goes. But we're on the second highest, which is great. Theology didn't do very well, unfortunately. I'd like to be a theologist for doing the clergy route. Manipulation up a little bit. We're canny, but just about. Our valor is pretty good. We're not far off being seasoned warrior, but actually we can't go any higher with these skills. I think they'll change into something else in the next part of our life. So we were kind of an okay fighter. We didn't have much of a chance to get tongue-tied, but that was for the Inquisitor, so I'm not too bothered about it. And scheming is inexperienced. It would have been nice to be a seasoned warrior, but anyway. Here we are. And we jump on to our next big life adventure. Peacetime. Leading up to the revolt. We still have 2 more lives, I think, before ultimate death. I think it's... Or maybe it's 4 and then ultimate death, or ultimate death is the 4th. I'm not sure. But we're 20 years of age. Ready for a new adventure.
A full adult now, I returned from the capital a changed man. Yet, my hometown was not the same as I had left it. Fate had difficult times in store for all of us.
For some reason he kind of reminds me of a Qui-Gon Jinn character, ponytail. Peacetime. What awaits us in Anizot, I wonder. Will we have Octavia Melanindas as a potential suitor? The road back home. As the carriage wheels clack a steady rhythm over the cobblestones, you watch the lands of Magla, rendered dry and desolate by ancient magic, sail by the window. You are back in your home province, but you are no longer the boy who left it by this very road 4 years ago. You return a nobleman and a judge. You are continuing the family trade. You have returned to serve at the province's prefecture. Your home, Anizot, is but a few hours away along this dusty road. The carriage is stuffy and hot from the sun, even with the thick blinders shut tight. It is a familiar heat, but you will now need to get used to it again. The heat weighs heavy on you, but it also reminds you of your childhood. You will see your family again soon. To pass the time before you return home, you read your father's most recent letter. Again and again you carefully reread your father's uneasy words, steeling yourself for your first real job and the service that awaits. Dear Morgan, I anxiously await your return, my son. You are the 3rd judge in our bloodline, the pride of our family. Yet these are hard times for a judge. By the Emperor's decree, Archduke Tarquinius Melanindas is no longer the overseer of Magra. The new overseer is the Emperor's own brother, Gaius Tempest, and now our province has been split by enmity and strife between the Archduke and the overseer. The nobles have split into 2 factions, and so too have the commoners. Some side with the Archduke, loyal to their liege and determined to follow the traditions of old, yet many judges and officials are eager to side with Gaius Tempest as the new overseer. Compared to his brother Cornelius, he is less radical and more cautious, but he too seeks to transform the empire and bring the estates to peace. Yet other Archnians are outraged that Archduke Melanindas has been deposed. One among them is Dorius Otten, High Commander of Magra. Although Otten and his men are sworn to serve Gaius Tempest and follow his orders, it is no secret that his loyalty remains with the Archduke. While Gaius and the Archduke are at odds, there has been no open confrontation, yet. I fear their patience may one day run dry. As for the judges of the prefecture, every day we deal with more and more litigation between nobles and commoners, yet there are no imperial laws that clearly formalize the rights of all 3 estates. Wisdom, honour and conscience are every judge's best advisor these days. You made the choices to serve the law, and you will have your work cut out for you. You will answer directly to Prefect Augustin Elborn, a long-standing friend of the family. He needs strong allies now more than ever. With your support of the people such as you and I, the Prefect intends to alter the fate of our province. I'm looking forward to seeing you back in Anizot, Morgan. You put the letter back in your pocket. The walls of Anizot have finally emerged on the horizon. A challenging job at the Prefecture awaits you. But first you are going home. To a very unsteady situation. Oh, there's quite a few events to look at. Otto in the sentenced, he faces the Court of Honor, Knight of the Serpents, Broken Chains, and True Death. Wow. He's also got occupation now, that's new. So our career, the support of the authorities, and the nobility on your path to the post of the Prefect of Magra. Ah, so I see. So we have an opportunity of becoming a future Prefect. Or we could be the tyranny of the nobles, or my career could be in ruins at the end of this stage. That's quite curious, and we're midway, so let's hopefully we can become a Prefect of Magra. And justice. The strength of the Prefecture and the power of law in the province determines the protection of commoners from the tyranny of the nobles. And we're very equal. I'd say, and we would want to switch it, I think, to the commoners are protected at least. Maybe not commoners seize power, but commoners are protected is what we would aim for, I think. Good to take a quick look at some other things just to see where we're at. Our family's reputation is still tarnished, which isn't great. I don't know if we'll get to Gloria's house, and we're still quite modest. But we're close to being affluent, which is good. And we're still in disagreements, but very close to peace. And that's us. Oh yeah, so it's 2 more death and then true death. So it's possible we could end the game in this life stage, but let's hope not. We can be ennobled by the sword, favoured by the overseer, heir to the family, and the family falls apart. So there's a lot going on there. Oh wow. A family of means. Mother recovers. Gloria Brante. So Gloria maybe gets ennobled. Branded by dishonor, the family's at peace. And Gloria's bloodline. And an occupation, a protector of the people, a patronage of the powerful, the La Tari ritual, court of honor ban, evidence against Otton. Quite a lot in this stage. And we have the occupation screen, which I just checked out. So let's get into our new life as a judge and try and increase the prestige of our family now. Part of me is thinking about, would I kill Stefan to become the heir? Maybe that means we can make Gloria a noble, or at least officially part of the family. Don't know if I would sacrifice one for the other. We have a great relationship with Stefan, which is really good. I'm hoping we can both really work together to make the family brilliant. So we're close to being affluent and we're close to unity, which is very important. 1137, 1138, peacetime, 20 years of age. Homecoming. The carriage stops. The familiar gate. Your bedroom window, the same one you used to climb out at night from time to time. The well-tended garden with its imported soil, delightful greenery, and mother's beloved violet irises. The porch you used to jump off of when you were little. You are home. You touch the handle of the front door and halt for a moment. It has been 4 years since you left for Eterna, but it feels like yesterday. The air inside is cool. As usual, Father cannot stand a stuffy room and insists on constantly airing out of the house. Your hurried footsteps coming from the direction... you hear hurried footsteps coming from the direction of Father's study. Before you have time to take off your travelling cloak, you are crushed in Stefan's strong embrace. Your brother has grown taller and more broad-shouldered. When he detaches himself from you, you notice how harsh his features have become. He looks even more like grandfather now. I have a feeling he's going to be really old and traditional, and that's going to cause unity problems. You've grown so much over the last 4 years, Morgan. Just look at you. You left a low-born boy, but you've come back, Sir Brante. I'm so glad you've joined us in the noble estate. You respond by giving your brother a wrapped gift. Stefan unwraps it carefully. When he sees the sword, a boyish smile appears on his stern face. It's beautiful. What a wonderful gift, brother. Maybe I should start a collection. What do you think? There's no hurry, Stefan, and now let me have a look at the prefecture's new judge. Father approaches you, his hand extended. You shake it and wrap your arms around him. Father looks older. His back is hunched and he squints. There are deep lines around his mouth and silver threads in his dark hair and moustache. Taking a step back, Father examines you from head to toe. What a fine posture. You had excellent teachers. I'm so proud you made it, son. Mother comes out of the living room, leaning on Nathan's arm. You immediately see signs of the illness you read about in the letters from home. Her back is bent, her hair is grey, a thin web of wrinkles cover her eyes and face, and her complexion has lost its colour. She can barely stand unassisted. Nathan leads Mother to you. Slowly, very delicately, she embraces you. You press your face into her shoulder, breathing in the nearly forgotten, dearly beloved smell. Mother holds your shoulders and studies your face for a long time. You've been away so long, son. How you've grown. Just a short while ago I was cradling you in my arms. You look so much like your father when he was your age, Sir Morgan Brante. Nathan approaches you next. Your youngest brother is now as tall as you are, and his hair almost reaches his shoulders, but he still has the same lost look in his eyes he had when he was a boy. And here's your ne'er-do-well little brother. He hasn't changed a bit or grown an inch after all this time. He couldn't get into the seminary, so he just hangs around. Oh no, I was kind of hoping he would join the clergy. Nathan lets out a heavy sigh and awkwardly puts his arms around you. I'm glad to see you back, Morgan. Home just hasn't been the same without you. You hear a snort behind you. Everyone turns. At the top of the stairs stands Gloria, her arms across her chest. She is dressed as a man, in culottes, a frock coat, and a necktie with a massive pin. The entire family waits for her to greet you. Stefan shakes his head disapprovingly. Your sister descends, as if forcing herself to do it. A few steps away from you, Gloria stops and bows. Welcome to your home, Sir Brante. Your sister looks thinner and leaner than she used to. She has dark circles under her eyes, as though she has been sleeping too little or crying too much. Enough pleasantries. Come on in, the table is set. Lydia has prepared a veritable feast for you. For the first time in years, the entire family is together. You can finally spend some time with another member of your family today. Oh god, oh god, oh god. Okay, I don't want to spend time with Stefan because I have a great relationship with him. I do want to find out how Mother is doing. I really do. I also want to support Gloria and see what's going on with her. And I also want to talk to Nathan. There's so much to do. Oh, I think probably Mother or Nathan are my options. I love Gloria. She's a really cool character and quite a good sister, but I've always felt like she's independent enough to look after herself. Nathan's the one who needs the help, but so does Mother. Let me just check our relationships and see which one probably needs the most work. So my mother is +4, Gloria is +3, Nathan is +1. Yeah, I had a feeling Gloria would become a kind of rabble-rouser. Yeah, Stefan is great, he's affectionate. Nathan's indifferent to me, really. Gloria quite likes me. I'm trying to think if the overall family unity is based on all the relationships. So I wonder if the higher each one is, the more it contributes to having unity. So maybe I should go talk to Mother or Gloria. But I really want to talk to Nathan. You know, like he needs it more than everybody else. But I've been so close to my mother. But I also want to let Gloria know that I'm not, just because I'm a noble, things haven't changed. Ugh. Mother's health, support Gloria, ask Nathan some questions. I really want to help improve Nathan's lot now that I'm home. I mean, I plan on my character supporting the kind of transition of commoners coming to power, so it makes sense to go to Gloria. But I really want to talk to Nathan, although he might just be a bit of a bum and not be worth choosing over my mother. Oh, I went to Nathan. Oh no. At the table you asked Nathan how he is doing. Your inquiries make your little brother uncomfortable. I don't think I read that right. I thought it meant you go talk to him on their own, not at his kitchen table. I would have probably chosen Mother or Gloria. Sorry, Nathan. I worked as hard as I could, studied theology, read books, but during my examination to seminary I started talking about something else entirely. I don't know what came over me. The priest asked me, what is the manifestation of the twins' God's love for people? And I went and said, forgiveness. What are you talking about, son? The twin gods could never forgive anyone for any sin. Otherwise, how could we fulfill their design? Everyone would do just whatever they wanted, since the gods would forgive them anyway. Sorrow fills Nathan's eyes. Oh god, I picked the wrong option. The priest was furious too. Out of the seminary, you ignoramus, he shouted. So I left, and now I don't know what to do with myself. Just keep silent then, quit prattling on about the troubles of the common folk. That's your lot for you. Instead, I'd like to hear what Morgan has to tell us about his life in the capital. Have you made any useful acquaintances? Our family would benefit from the good connections right now. Oh, I should have chose Mother's health. Anyway. You have to relate the 4 years you spent in Eterna. You resume your conversation with Nathan later that night. You sit together on the back porch, away from the rest of the family. I'm glad someone cares about me, brother. You've always been there for me. It must be painful for you to see me grow to be so useless. Things are bad for me. I try to at least look after Mother. You can ask her questions, but her answers often don't make sense, and she keeps falling silent in the middle of a conversation, like she did today. Her illness is consuming her. You know, if Mother passes, she may not be reborn. I dread to think what will happen to Father then, and to Gloria. Gloria has had a hard time of it lately too. Stefan has treated her like dirt for the last year, which is only going to be inflating her passion to work against him. I think he plans to drive her out of the house, and so her origins won't taint the Brante name anymore. Stefan only cares about one thing now, getting our family ennobled by the sword. So for him, Gloria is just an obstacle between him and his goal. Well, my relationship with Nathan went up, which is what I was hoping would happen, so that's good. You spend quite some time in silence, gazing at the radiant stripe of the shining pillar as it grows more and more luminous against the darkening sky. The Brante family is about to face some challenging times. We are so close to peace. I mean, I want my family to be ennobled by the sword as well. First day of service. We'll do this and then we'll finish up. First day of service. Chapter 4. Your service as a judge begins today. You get dressed early in the morning, donning a brand new jacket with a cravat and hat. It's an immaculate look, if you dare say so yourself. You head to the prefecture with Father. The prefecture moved recently. It now occupies a massive new building of white sandstone in the very centre of Anisot. A stone statue looms above it, the sword of the younger twin, the divine law that directs worldly judgment. All legal disputes in the province are to be resolved here. You and Father walk up the marble stairs past the commoners, merchants and lesser nobles, all petitioners and litigants huddled by the pillars. Although I don't trust Stefan to be able to ennoble us by the sword alone, so that's partly why it's good to pick the noble. Well now, my son, here you shall begin your service to the Empire in the midst of the great struggle I told you about. If you don't mind a little advice, you will serve under Sir Elborn. Follow my example and stay close to your superior. He is a human of great worth and practically your relative. But he's probably going to stand for everything I stand against. You walk past the courtroom and up to the second floor, where judges work in their offices and receive petitioners. The corridors are many and narrow, filled with the smell of old papers and the sounds of muffled, mumbling voices and secretaries and gendarmes running to and fro. Father guides you down a corridor that ends with a door to Sir Elborn's office. Morgan, it is time for you to stand before the prefect. Remember the friendship between our families. You knock and enter. The spacious, oak-panelled office is not without decoration, yet its adornments are tasteful and elegant rather than garish. The flag of Magla bearing the silver tree hangs on the wall. Behind an imposing desk sits Baron Augustin Elborn, surrounded by papers. His face wears a focused expression you recall from his visits in the past, although it is more wrinkled than you remember. He looks up, and his face comes to life. He rises and extends a hand to you. Why, young Morgan Brante, what a pleasure it is to see you again. I see your years at the capital have turned you into a stately young man. I was told you proved yourself quite capable at the college. The city of Anniswort needs worthy judges who know their craft now more than ever. Allow me to welcome you into service for the good of the Empire. I'm sure you already know the basics of judicial work. Serving at the prefecture, however, takes more than finding your way through our laws, although they are quite labyrinthian and contradictory. There's no denying that. Anywhere you look in our province, you will see friction between the estates. Old noble blood, new nobles, rich commoners, poor commoners, they all have their legal disputes. And we judges work here to make sure this pot never boils over. If you are too eager to follow the traditions of old and bow to noble privilege, the common estate will grow desperate and lose all hope for freedom. But if we openly side with the commoners, the nobles' eye will be quick to find us. And so, Judge Brante, I ask you to be wary and wise. Peace hangs by a thread in this province. Carefully consider every decision you make at court before rendering your verdict. But first, you need to get accustomed to your new position. You shall begin at once. The prefecture has already assigned you a number of legal proceedings to review and judge. Your office is ready and waiting for you, Sir Brante. Who would have thought? Here we are. The instructions are over. The work begins. You recognize your new office by the brass plate on the door, reading Sir Morgan Brante, Judge. Oh, nice. Look at that. Congratulations to us. You find it rather cramped on the inside, yet still reasonably comfortable. The sturdy desk has all the stationery you need. Behind the desk is a large chair of carved wood, and in front of it are several smaller chairs for petitioners. Heavy curtains hang over the window, worthy opponents for the morning light trying to shine through. There are papers on the desk already, including instructions, orders, rulings, and all sorts of prefecture paperwork. You're about to begin when you hear a sudden knock on the door. The source of the disturbance turns out to be a stout, smartly dressed nobleman. He greets you with an elegant bow you would not have expected from such a sizable individual. Carlo Fockgraben. Sir Brante, congratulations on your first day of service. Allow me to introduce myself, Judge Carlo Fockgraben, a humble servant of the law like yourself. It is my hope that we will become fast friends. And now, if I may, a word of warning to help your work progress smoothly. As a token of our future friendship, I am aware that Sir Elborn is your immediate superior. As a loyal servant of the Empire, you will, of course, take his word as your guide. Yet there is no reason to neglect all the other judges of the prefecture, all of whom are noble men of great worth. Their guidance will most certainly aid you as a judge. It will be my pleasure, Sir Brante, to facilitate your introduction to the noble judges of the prefecture as soon as possible. I see glory in your future service to the Empire, yet it certainly cannot hurt to receive reassurance and support when you might need it. I shall not detain you any longer, but if you would wish to make some valuable connections, my office is right across from your own. Oh no! Another elegant bow from Judge Fockgraben, and the door closes. You are alone at your desk once again. The scorching sun is rising over the province behind the window. Today is an important day, the day when you are to take first steps in your new profession. What will you focus on today? You can ask Father for advice. You go to Father to get an inside look at the prefecture affairs and see where he stands himself. I'm tempted to do that because we have his relations right there. You know, often in this game, the options that are unlocked usually turns out to be the best ones. I could prepare to deal with my cases and carefully prepare for my judicial duties, or get acquainted with the judges. You take Carlo Fockgraben up on his offer and make several useful acquaintances among the judges of the prefecture. Okay, so the thing is, what we want to be focusing on now is looking at our career. So, in order to progress, we want the support of the authorities and the nobility on my path to be prefect, and also to fight for justice. Oh, I really want to go see Father just because I've got the option to do that. But at the same time, I kind of don't, because I don't want to have him think we need him for all of our help, for everything. Let's get acquainted with the judges. We take Carlo Fockraben up on his offer and make several useful connections and acquaintances among the judges of the prefecture. It never hurts to have our name around the place, especially when we're trying to climb the ladder. Sir Fockraben's offer seems rather reasonable, now you think about it. You dedicate some time to the cases and necessary paperwork, then shift the case folders aside and walk to the office across from yours. Judge Fockraben greets you warmly. Sir Brante, how splendid of you to stop by. Come, let us pay a few visits to the most distinguished of your new colleagues. I'm sure they will be delighted to make the acquaintance of such a promising young man. With that, Fockraben leads you through the corridors of the prefecture. As you walk down the hall, he starts mentioning other judges by names and origin, age and experience, power and influence. You stop by a number of other judges' offices. Hours pass in dignified greetings, bowing, pats on the shoulder, and courteous conversation. One after another, the judges make it quite clear to you that when a noble and a commoner clash in the courtroom, the court is to side with the noble every time, no matter how affluent the commoner may be. Only when both parties hail from the common estate may a judge fully rely upon the rule of law. Before you know it, your first day at the prefecture is over. Just look at how much you've accomplished in just one day, Brante. So many experienced judges, and you've made a splendid impression on all of them. Your future is all but assured now, I guarantee it. I don't know if I trust this guy, though. But remember, courteous words are not the only thing that matters at the prefecture. Your decisions will not go unnoticed. Morgan, my friend, I greatly hope your youthful exuberance will not result in any gas that may hinder our mutual effort at maintaining order in our province. Act with wisdom in mind, especially when the wisdom of your colleagues is always within reach. Great, so our career has gone up, but the fight for justice has gone down. Okay, it's good for our career, but it's bad for that's on a nice edge. It'll fall into lawlessness if we don't make the right choice in our next case. You say farewell to the eloquent, affable judge and walk to the carriage outside. I wonder actually if we had done our cases. Career goes down, but justice goes up, and if we had done Father, maybe both would have went up, or neither would have fallen. You say farewell to the eloquent, affable judge and walk to the carriage outside waiting to take you home. With so many useful acquaintances made at the prefecture today, your career will surely prosper. However, there is a burden of expectation upon you. They want you to fall in line and side with noble privilege without a second thought. However, the conflict between the noble and common estates is growing tenser by the day. It will only become harder to uphold the law in the future. I don't know if I made the right decision there, but we should see. I'm quite excited actually to try out the other two pathways, the Inquisitor and the Conspirator, to see what happens, because I'd like to get different perspectives on the sides of events, and I'm quite tempted to start a new series now rather than wait till I finish this one, so they're kind of working alongside each other, but it'll take time away from doing this series. It'd be kind of nice having the three series following along from each other. If I could go back, I would have done that, but I can't. So I'm going to leave it there for this episode. I hope you really enjoyed it. I'm still absolutely loving this game, and let me know if you would have chosen any different options than I did. And I will see you for our next episode in the next few days. So take care and have a good day.